I'm Kelly. I'm happily married. We live here in Johannesburg. And before I went on this journey with Anne and Financial Freedom University, I wasn't even a TV dinner investor. I think I was a solid head in the sand, make it one day to the next, hoping and praying for some kind of miracle to save me, and not even knowing how much saving I actually needed. I started working for a bank in that time, coming out of consulting and into regular corporate, sort of balancing this early midlife story. And I was doing great. And then I started to get ill. I got fatigued and I got sore. I was down all the time, or I was sleeping a lot, pain in my hips, and many thousand rand later, and I wound up in hospital. They caught me actually actively having lesions in my brain. I just realized, what does this mean? Where is this going to leave me? Am I going to be, so disabled that I'm going to need constant support? Am I going to be able to work? And I was like, I have nothing if that happens. Nothing. If somebody decides to me, it's like, oh, well, actually, Kelly's just had too many bad days. Maybe we won't renew. What happens to me then? I had to do it for me. I had to do it for my marriage. I had to do it for my dogs. I had to do it for my mum and dad, who are still around and, who I love very much. And I feel like the universe has been trying to catch my attention for some time, and I've been blithely ignoring it. So it decided to do something extreme. And this time I listened. And it's been hard. And I think, one of the hardest things has been that discipline around panic. And I battle with that because the biggest trigger in MS is stress. This mindset of scarcity that creeps up. And I go, well, I've got 30 years of inaccurate beliefs to let go of. Of course, I'm not going to be fine all the time. I'm going to struggle. But it's a good struggle. It's a worthwhile struggle. My husband often says to me, it's like, you can slow down. You're doing great. You have accomplished so much in the last 6 months. You don't have to do it all right now. It doesn't all have to be fixed right now. The pain doesn't all have to be gone. The money doesn't all have to be in the bank. The loans don't all have to be paid off just yet. Just yet. You've got time. I mean, I've loved my 40s. The pain and disease diagnosis and all of that aside, it's been great. I have enough wherewithal now to really make the most of the next 40. I had got advice from a financial manager, and I tried some of that advice. I was handing over my power to others. The lack of agency, the fear-mongering, insurance, financial services, there's a lot of that, right? It's all about, you don't know, let us look after you. You're getting value for money, and, we know best. Don't worry your little head. Everything's going to be fine. And I kind of go, ignorance is bliss up to a certain extent, but once the blinkers are off, my word, is it the harshness of reality. And then you have to do something. I am adamant to have some control in a world that is uncontrollable. Like, there is so little in this world that is actually potentially in your grasp to manage. But this is something I think that I can do. And I'm trying every day. But the interesting thing is trying to balance that need for control with just let it, just breathe. I signed up and I started coming to the sessions, and I started to unpack some of my past learnings. I started to fill in my story about where I wanted to be, and that was so powerful. It's like, what does freedom look like to you? Like, what is your way? What does that look like? And then doing the maths, doing the sums, like, how much does it take? I did my financial freedom numbers, even looked at the years, and I was like, oh my God, okay, well, actually, I don't know how we're going to do this, but we're going to. And then I started to do some of the more simple things, like downloading my bank statements and trying to consolidate that information. I have finally got a whole month, I think 5 months of income statement / balance sheet running, and like really having a look at like where the money is going, incidental spends, trying to get a hold of that 55% into the necessity bucket. And like, is it a necessity? Maybe I can squeeze that into the joy bucket. Is it really? No, Kelly, you went shopping. Put it where it's supposed to belong. Also, this year's been expensive. Obviously with hospital visits, interest rates are crazy. We bought a house just before all of this happened. So, trying to really get a handle on all of that has been challenging. But wow, I did it. I did something I never know. I pivot table, thank you, Natalie. And I fight with it every time I say what's gone wrong. I have to redo it. But it's there, all the data's there. I can see it. And that was amazing. The second thing I did was I went and I opened my Easy Equities account. Man, that is fun and so rewarding. I thought, oh, well, that's how much money comes into my account every month. So we'll put in 10% of that. And I went, actually, that's not how much money that comes into your account. So scale it back. I rejigged. I played a bit, and it was great fun. But now it's all set up, and that's running. I moved my tax-free savings account. So now I've stopped spending all my money on my credit card and using debit facility. I've opened up my emergency fund account. I'm still trying to balance because I'm not at that 55% with the necessities bundle. Some months it goes in and some months it doesn't. And being okay with that is hard. It's baby steps, but it's progress. I am squeezing the juice. We've checked all of our insurances, cancelled things we don't need, but we've got a lovely cottage and we'll rent that out. I'm like, there are other ways of doing it. And husband and I are looking at opening a little business together. The income side is definitely growing because I have just with the bits and pieces around getting the platform stuff done. So the tax-free savings is in and it's already growing. It's opened my mind to the fact that my self-worth and my net worth are not the same. It's breaking that cycle of belief that my worth is dependent on I did this degree and my money is worth hours. I feel free in a way. A level of freedom I certainly didn't have before. I'm still scared, but it's residual fear. It's like it's it's muscle memory that has to be broken. It's like going to gym. I'm exercising. I'm practicing. I feel hopeful. I feel empowered. I feel excited because I'm going to be trying new things. The freedom aspect is coming in actually more almost in the physical aspect rather than the mental one. So the freedom's coming and I feel less panicked and I think hopeful. I'm not as scared. The fear, it comes and it goes and it will get better. I've got courage. Courage gets you quite far, actually. Because you learn every time you do something with courage, it really isn't that bad. It's like every time you do a little bit more. And it's so rewarding. I feel rewarded for my efforts. We've just been married 13 years. We have had unbelievably frank conversations around things that we've never had frank conversations about before. I think we're both excited about what the future is going to bring. I think we're both feeling more liberated about what wealth looks like for us and that it's not attached to this thing of identity. It really isn't. I feel grateful every day I practice a little bit of gratitude. And some days it's easier than others. And it's lovely. What do I have to really complain about? Nothing. Everything's going to be okay. It's all going to be okay. Just breathe. You are enough. Be brave. Everything's going to be okay. And then just don't get lazy. Just don't get complacent. There's always something new. So don't forget that, old kitty. There's always going to be another challenge. Life, she does not run smooth, right? But I think the point is to be present. And, what do I need to do to be present and look after my financial shit? The value one gets out of investing in oneself through something like Freedom University is compounding. Aha, see what I did there? I don't often take courses. I don't invest in my personal growth. And I took a chance. It was the right thing to do for me. And it has made an enormous difference in my life. I would say to anybody, if you're feeling nervous, dip in and do one of the one-day courses. Speak to some of the older timers, the people who have 6 years in and are now free, financially free. It's a liberating journey of self-discovery in a financial context. And that give yourself the gift of financial freedom. I think that's what I would say to somebody. It's been a real journey of accepting that it's mucky and it's hard and it's a challenge and to balance that joy with the reality of this is not easy, or else everyone would be doing it.